All right. Yes, perfect. So first of all, MMP week is coming to an end, and this is not the last video in the MMP week, but I do want to say that the finishing touch week is then also coming. So if you have feedback on a certain video or you're confused about a certain video, then please let me know, because of course, when you are confused, that is my responsibility to take away the confusion, because the video, in my opinion, is then just not clear enough. So we need to make it as clear as possible, and that can be done in the finishing touch week, where we can touch on anything that you want me to touch on again. Very important. Now, in this video, we are going to start using a trading plan. And when we start using a trading plan, there are going to be different types of traps, where if we now have a flow trading plan, for example, then what do we actually do? Where do we actually start? What actions do we actually take right now? So we wouldn't be the money-making team if we didn't go over this, because the way I like to view it is we're the top 1%. And I've written something down where trading plans and strategies have been taught before. We are not the first ones teaching this. As in, we are not the first ones teaching a trading plan, teaching a trading strategy. The concept, yes. But, so why is it that people don't succeed? If we want to be in the top 1%, we have to observe what the 99% is doing, and we do the opposite of them. So it's very funny, because I see this as in, I look at this a lot. I think of this a lot. This is everything that I do, basically, where if people are using a lot of concepts, I don't want to use a lot of concepts. If people are, and I see on social media, where the masses are doing something, I want to do the opposite in my trading. It's very important. And in general, you would do great if you don't follow the masses and do the exact opposite. This is well in sport. In sport, it's, if you want to be in the top 1%, how can you expect to be in the top 1% if you're going to do the same exact thing as everyone else? Doesn't make any sense. So that is exactly how we want to get into the top 1%, where we look at other people, we see, this person or the majority of people is doing that. So we want to do the opposite, because the top 1% is clearly doing something different than the 99%, because the 99% of traders, quote unquote traders, are simply unprofitable. 9 out of 10 people you are seeing on social media are simply unprofitable. That's pretty crazy to think about, right? So do you want to follow their advice? Probably not. You want to do the opposite. And that's exactly what we're going to go over right here, where the first step is 99% of the people backtest. I am a huge rejecter of backtesting. I do not believe in backtesting at all. I am fully against it, although I can see some benefits, where if you were to backtest and you actually use the replay tool, and that is what I refer to as backtesting. Backtesting is like this, where I use the replay tool and I skip through price right there, and I try to find opportunities. This is very detrimental. On the first day that you start to use a trading plan, I would say you can backtest a little bit to get to know your trading plan. But after the first day, you need to quit backtesting forever. Forever. Don't backtest anymore, because backtesting is nowhere near live trading. It's nowhere near. The data you gather from backtesting is nowhere near your live trading data. Even the patience you build up in your backtesting is nowhere near that patience you need in live trading. Or for example, right here, if I don't like price action or I take a loss right there, I can just do this and I can skip. In a second, I can skip 6 days ahead, where 6 days ahead takes a long time in real life. So that impatience that you might have gets reinforced, that ID gets reinforced, that impatience gets added onto, where that patience, you actually need to practice that in live trading. So you can't just simply go from a loss and then skip a few candles to then actually take another trade and it's going to be a winner in live trading. In live trading, that's going to lead to you taking a loss, then thinking you can flick through other pairs. So flicking through other pairs, I mean, you can go through other pairs right there, find a new opportunity, leads to impulsive trading, leads to over trading, leads to revenge trading. So this is very important when you do start to use a trading plan, that ideally you don't want to backtest. Very important. And if you are going to backtest, I would always advise hindsight backtesting. And the reason for that is because hindsight backtesting does not affect you in the way as backtesting does, where backtesting simply builds that unhealthy habits, a lot of unhealthy habits, impatience, etc. Where hindsight backtesting, you don't build any habits with hindsight backtesting. So for example, how would you approach hindsight backtesting? What I tend to do is I tend to go into price action right there. For example, I see that fair value gap. I see that fair value gap pushed price higher. Nice. Can I find entry opportunities in that price action right there according to my trading plan? That is hindsight backtesting. And that is ideally what you want to do, because that builds your eyes to actually see the situation. So when you see that situation in the future, that is what you're going to spot. You're going to learn to spot it as early as possible. Where backtesting, you could argue, does the same thing. But backtesting comes with that pro of seeing the situation, but comes with a lot of cons, where the emotional side is getting affected a lot in backtesting. Hindsight backtesting simply doesn't have that. So that is very important to understand as well. Where from what I see, and I want to add on to this backtesting story, from what I see, and the main trap is again that you are going to be stuck in backtesting forever. I see people that have been trading for, well, a long time, years, I would argue, and they are stuck in a backtesting cycle where they gather data in their backtesting and then they try to apply that trading plan in their live trading. The trading plan in the live trading environment doesn't live up to the expectations. What do? They step back into their comfort zone being the backtesting session. They gather new data. They go into the live session. They take a loss again. They go back to the backtesting session. Cycle repeats over and over and over. And they're stuck. They're stuck in a backtesting cycle where the only thing they can really do is flex their data. And yes, there are people out there that flex their data on social media, that flex their data to their friends, their backtesting data, which is absolutely probably one of the saddest things you can see out there. So it is very important that we don't want to be those backtesting warriors where we share the data, etc. Feel free, of course, to share data. It's just me making my point and over exaggerating, but it's very important that we don't want to be stuck in that cycle. That is my point. Now, after that, we have the next point, which is don't demo trade. And again, when I say don't demo trade, yes, there are pros to demo trading as well, but there are a lot of cons again to demo trading, where demo trading, the pros, I'm going to name the pros first. And the pros are that you actually get somewhat of a great replica of a live trading environment. So you need to react, you need to be able to adapt, you need to actually perform your trading plan. But performing the trading plan itself is not going to be the most difficult job in your trading career. As in, again, the technicals are not the most difficult. Yes, they are quite difficult. They are quite advanced, of course. We need to learn them as well, which is where demo could come in the first place. But what I'm trying to aim at is those people that are stuck in the demo trading environment. And the reason for that is it's same as backtesting. It becomes a comfort zone. It becomes easy. It becomes nice. It becomes that nice place where you have a nice chair. You can just sit down. You can just relax, not stressing about anything. No headaches, no emotions. Well, let me tell you, if we want to improve, we need those headaches. We need that stress. We need those emotions to start to rise. If we want to improve, we need to take those punches. We need to get out of our comfort zone. Growth is always uncomfortable in any shape or form. If you go to the gym, you need pain first to actually grow. It's the same in everything. You need pain in order to grow. So to get better in trading as well, you need to experience pain in the form of emotions, of course. When I say pain, there's different kinds of pain, where here it's just emotional pain. It's not nice to take those losses in the beginning, but they're extremely important. Where demo trading, you take loss as well, but those losses do not really affect you that much. Because demo is still like, you understand, all right, I literally have nothing on the line. Nothing. There's nothing on the line. Well, not even a little bit of ego, because nobody can really see my account. There's nothing on the line here. If I mess up in my demo, I can create a new account with one click of the button. There's nothing on the line. Where what I would advise is get the smallest account you can afford. Even if that's a 5K challenge, get that 5K challenge. And if you can afford that, of course, then try to trade that and try to see what happens with your emotion, because you will see that even if it's as small as a 5K account, there is emotion involved because you paid for something. When you pay for something, there are emotions involved, and there's more ego involved than a demo, because you think like, all right, now I actually want to succeed, because otherwise I have on my screen challenge failed. You get that email, challenged failed, breach detected. That is not what we want to have, right? That's going to hurt us a little bit. So it's very important to understand that demo trading, again, builds unhealthy habits. But demo trading as well, the unhealthy habit that you could build is, for example, let me enter a little bit earlier, and in my live trading, then I'm going to take it more serious. Yes, you're not going to do that. And again, the reason I state that is because I speak from experience, where when I used to demo trade and when I used to back this as well, this is all from my experience. I've done it before, where in my demo trading, I would see my entry pattern develop. Very important word, develop, where my entry pattern was developing, and I would already enter because I thought, my entry pattern is already potentially developing right there. So let me just get in and then let me see what it actually wants to do. And then when I went into my challenge, I was surprised. Why did I have so much FOMO? Why did I have so much greed? Well, maybe because you built the unhealthy habit in demo trading. And I never realized that until eventually I thought, I'm in a cycle of demo trading where I would then take a loss and I would go back to demo trading because I thought I wasn't ready yet. I need to backtest more. I need to demo trade more. No, that's not how it works. And that is very important to understand as well. So if we can avoid those cycles, the backtesting cycle, the demo cycle, then our learning curve will be so extremely fast, where someone who comes into this mentorship and goes to backtest and demo trade forever. I'm talking about 5 years. 5 years demo trading, 5 years backtesting. They might know the strategy very well. They might know the concepts very well. Where someone at the same time that you came into the mentorship did not come into the mentorship, did not do anything, started to trade in a live environment. In those 5 years, he or she will likely already have seen profitability before you even get that touch of profitability, before you even get close to it. Someone that doesn't even get a mentor or anything. So someone that doesn't have a mentor, someone that does have a mentor, the person that doesn't have a mentor, that is going to dive into the market in a live environment, going to risk money, potentially lose a lot of money as well, that is the one who's going to learn the fastest, who's actually going to reach profitability the fastest, if they learn from their mistakes as well, of course. So learn from my mistakes, I would say, and your learning curve is going to excel immediately. Now, the reason I say, again, the reason why we want to jump into the live environment is because there is no other way to actually improve. There is no growth without that pain. We need to experience those failures. As in, they are not failures, I would argue. They're lessons. When you first start trading your trading plan, you will notice, hey, I didn't stick to my risk management. Hey, my entry pattern here was just not that great. Yes, perfect. Those mistakes allow you to improve your win rate, allow you to improve your RR through experience. That is experience that you need to achieve. That experience can't be achieved in demo. Simply can't be achieved in demo. Can't be achieved in backtesting. It's experience that needs to come from market. Time in the market. Most important thing to understand. So when you do start to live trade, again, don't risk everything on one account. As in, don't put all your savings to a 500k account. No, don't do that, please. Because then that also doesn't make any sense. We want to start off slow and we slowly want to build it up, which we're going to go over in the funded guide as well. So it's very important to understand that don't risk everything, but what you can risk, hey, risk that. risk that amount as little as a 5K challenge. Doesn't matter as long as there's something on the line that will allow us to grow the fastest versus somebody who is just the 99% are just demo traders that just trade demo and they are too scared to dive into a live environment. If you're too scared to dive into a live environment, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Believe me, I've also been there. But it is something to say, all right, let me gather myself right now and let me just dive into the market. Where when I started the challenge and when I start challenges, I've had this struggle for a long period of time. I don't really have to struggle anymore. My first trade of a live account was the scariest trade of my life, and I would procrastinate it for ages. I would procrastinate that trade for weeks on weeks on weeks, where eventually 2 months went by and I said, I haven't placed a trade yet because I'm just too scared to place that trade. If you find yourself in that scenario, I want you to lower your risk to 0 to 5%, not because of the fact, all right, we want to lower risk to avoid that pain. No, we want that pain. We want to experience that pain and we want to place a trade. The next trade opportunity you see, even if it's not the best one, place that trade, click that button and walk away from the screen. Whatever happens, happens. You might not even want to focus on your risk management. No need. I want you to take that loss. That loss will be the best lesson of your life because that loss will allow you to then see, well, I don't feel any different. I took a loss, which of course doesn't feel that nice. My account is only 0 to 5% down. Nothing really happened. And then a light bulb goes off. Okay. Well, if this is the case, and I just find those opportunities, and then when you take the next winner, it's going to be the best feeling in your life because then you're like, this is trading. This is trading. I need to focus on the trading plan over and over and over and over again to see it actually work out. And of course, remember the house rules as well. A trading plan is a trading plan for a reason, because if we jump from strategy to strategy, it's also not going to work. Then the next point is very important to understand as well, which the next 2 points go hand in hand. The first point is don't say the strategy doesn't work after just 1 month. And then we need to understand the losing curve as well, which is the second point. So they go hand in hand because saying the strategy doesn't work or saying your trading plan doesn't work before switching to another trading plan after 1 month is where simply you haven't given it enough time. And I can understand why people would think that this is the best excuse in the trading world, where you could just say and you can simply shove everything to, hey, just give it more time. But there is truth to that sentence where you do need to give it more time, because with time, again, if you go to the gym and after 1 month, you don't really see any progress, you see a little bit, but progress is not really visible. You simply haven't given it enough time. And that's the same with a lot of things in life where you can't expect something, and especially the most difficult thing in the world, I would argue, which is trading. Of course, over exaggerating, we're in a luxury position here, but profession-wise, this is one of the most difficult things in the world, I would argue, because we have to go against human nature, where right now and in general, we have to understand that it takes time, as well as a trading plan. Understanding things and a trading plan overall, it takes time. And once you give it time, you will notice that you will get used to the strategy. And once you get used to the strategy, experience and intuition can now also take over. And that is when you reach next levels, when your win rate increases, your RR, your overall return increases. And that is what we are looking for. So 1 month is simply not enough time for a trading plan. It takes a lot more time. It takes, I would argue, and usually from what I see as well in different students, where after 6 months of giving it time, after 6 months is usually on average. There's also people that do it less. There's also people that take a little bit longer. There's no shame in it. But on average, it's around 6 months. 6 months to fully see the profits, to become profitable, to see a funded account actually past those things. So 1 month, 1 week, well, that is again too little of time. Then the next point that goes hand in hand with that is understanding the losing curve. And the losing curve is understanding as well how trading works. When you just use a trading plan and you just start out with a trading plan, for example, the flow trading plan, then first you will have a losing curve where if we draw a beautiful graph right there, the more time we give it right there, this is time on the bottom, time, and this right here is the profits, where this is our 0% level. Then when we just start out, the most likely thing you are going to experience is you are going to get into drawdown like this. Drawdown might have a little profit right there, but overall you're going to experience drawdown. That's the most likely thing that's going to happen when you're just starting out with a new trading plan. After that, you sort of get the hang of it. You get rid of those mistakes you used to make in the beginning when you just started out with a trading plan. So you get familiar with your trading plan. Once you get familiar with your trading plan right there, you start to slowly climb out of the drawdown. You start to get better. You get that great feeling again. You get that sense from, hey, it is doable. It is doable. I am climbing out of drawdown right there. And it's a great feeling right there. And then eventually we hit a break-even line where we're just like, we're taking losses and we're taking winners. We're at that break-even stage. Now, if this is not because of your risk management, then it's just part of the losing curve. So don't worry about it. Because eventually what happens is from that break-even cycle, you will also learn. And now from the break-even cycle, you will now have a winning cycle where now you can call yourself a profitable trader and you can actually earn and make those profits. That is understanding the losing curve. Now, this graph that we have right here is the most typical cycle where lose, break even, and a winning cycle. Where the winning cycle, of course, you might experience some drawdown. So you might have some periods where this happens right there. But overall, the line is continuing to go higher the more time we give it. Now, the losing curve is not just one set of one set, as in it's not a binary thing, either this or this happens. No, the losing curve can also start off with winners, actually, where if we just start out with a trading plan, we might win and we might see a lot of profits. And then after that, what happens? I've seen this over and over and over. I've also experienced it myself, where if we pass a funded account with the first trading plan we use, what likely happens? In phase 1, we pass it. Phase 2, if we even have a phase 2 or we have just a live account, then we usually experience something like this, a losing curve. And we experience heavy drawdown all of a sudden. And we think, or the usual reaction is to then blame the trading plan. It's not the trading plan. It's not the trading plan. It's simply you haven't experienced that losing curve, the mandatory losing curve that you need to experience. The losing curve there is a funny way of how the market works because it is mandatory. Everyone is going to experience a losing curve before they actually start winning in the long term. And the reason for that is because I like to think the market punishes you for every mistake that you make. So all the mistakes you need to filter out is what you first need to do before you can actually experience the full winning, the full profitability. So when you first start off winning, then be aware you haven't experienced the losing curve just yet. So when that loss comes right there, then you need to be very aware, don't get too overconfident to then dive into a new trade again, because the losses, the drawdown is coming your way. And that is extremely important to understand, because then you are not surprised when it comes. And when you are surprised, I've seen it happen over and over, is that then you think the trading plan doesn't work. I need to incorporate new strategies. I need to incorporate new concepts. Let me open up social media again and let me find another mentor maybe who can teach me new concepts. It's not the concepts, it's not the mentor, it's you that doesn't understand the losing curve right there. So the best thing you can do is come to me and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the losing curve. Let's talk. How can we avoid the mistakes that you made from happening again? How can we get better from this? That is very important. Not jumping to another mentor, not jumping this. That's extremely important to understand. And again, I don't want you to feel forced to do anything, but I do want you to know that this is the best way going forward, that this is the best way on how you can actually get to the profitable stage. And if I did this a little bit earlier, because I was profitable with my first trading plan, which was a very simple trading plan. I still have videos on it, actually, quite funny. But I was profitable with my first trading plan, and I stopped using it because I experienced it. I passed my first FT mode challenge that I ever took. I passed it. I even have the certificate. And once I passed it, I bragged about it to all my friends. I bragged about it to my family. I bragged about it to everyone I could think of. Little did I know that the losing curve, the mandatory losing curve, was still coming my way. And then phase 2, I blew it. The next day, I blew that account. And that is the losing curve. And I did not see that coming. So my first reaction was what? My first reaction was, it's a trading plan. I almost pointed my finger towards my mentor. It's you. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? The trading plan doesn't work. And I just didn't understand to take that responsibility and to say, all right, this is a losing curve. And I also, to be honest, did not have someone that told me, hey, this is a losing curve. Don't do this. Just stick to it. It will be okay. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. And we need to instill this into your mind as well, where after this losing curve, the same thing happens again. Losing, break-even stage right there. Then afterwards, we start winning again. We start winning, and we might experience some drawdown, but overall, long-term, we stay winning right there. So if you start off with winners, then keep in mind, those losses are coming. And the reason I say that is because I want to prepare you. I want to prepare you to not be scared of those losses. That pain is going to help you grow. That pain is there to, the market delivers that pain, delivers those emotions right there to learn from it. It wants you to filter out those mistakes, to reward you with profitability. And that is what a lot of people don't understand right there. So this is very important, and this is how you start using a trading plan. So what's the next step for you? Well, the next step for you is, I would advise, all right, let me get familiar with my trading plan in hindsight backtesting. So seeing a few PD rates, etc. that held, getting familiar with the current price action. Afterwards, it's simply live trading. It's simply live trading. And live trading can again be a very small account. The first account, challenge account, I want you to be prepared. That account is likely going to be a blown account. It's likely going to be drawdown. It's likely going to be a pain in the ass. Then the funny thing is, when I see that in other people and when I saw it in myself as well, is that when you then open up the next account, it's like, oh, here we go again, might experience pain. And all of a sudden, all the mistakes you already made are now avoided. So it becomes a lot easier. And then you actually start that break-even cycle on the next account. And then I would argue either that account or the next account is when you truly start to see the profit, if you truly learn from those mistakes you made in the first account. So that's very important to understand. And this is how you start using a trading plan. Which prop firm, etc. is all things we go over in the funnel guide as well. So don't worry, it's something we are going to go over as well. But if you already have a prop firm, and I would always advise, stick to the known ones. Stick to the known ones. Even, of course, can we fully trust the known ones? No, but there are more odds of them being actually held up, as in nothing crazy happening, than to the just popping up and here I am with 100% payout and free challenge. All things we don't want to fall for. And again, there's no reason. The prop firms are not the reason why we fill challenges. As in, it's just us mainly. So let's take that responsibility and let's absolutely smash it out of the park by understanding that our mindset is very important when we start using a trading plan as well. All right, perfect. Thank you.